Was this New Zealand's worst mining disaster? Welcome to Lost in Time. Tonight we explore one of New Zealand's most recent disasters. On November 19th, 2010, a massive explosion tore through the Pike River coal mine, located on New Zealand's rugged west coast. What followed was a national tragedy that left 29 men dead and families broken, and an entire country demanding answers. This is the story of the Pike River mine disaster. How it happened, why it was preventable, and the haunting legacy it's left till today. The Pike River mine itself was located deep within the Paparoa Ranges, northeast of Greymouth. It was a risky site, but the coal and the seam that was there was extremely lucrative. It was buried under remote, forested terrain and also hard to access. Operated by Pike River Coal Limited, it promised jobs and revival of the economy. But behind the optimism, there were warnings. Concerns about methane levels, inadequate ventilation, and cost cutting. These concerns were raised by workers and inspectors alike. At 3:44 p.m, November 19th, a powerful explosion rocked the underground tunnels. 2 workers near the entrance survived, but 29 others were trapped. The blast so strong that it absolutely buckled the ventilation shaft and knocked out all communications. Above ground, families gathered, praying for a miracle. Initial hopes faded quickly. Dangerous levels of methane and carbon monoxide were detected on site, making it impossible for rescuers to access the entrance of the tunnel and get further in. Days passed, robots were even sent in, and they failed. A second explosion hit 5 days later. Once that happened, there was no doubt in people's minds the men, sadly trapped in the tunnel, could not have survived. In total, 4 explosions occurred over several weeks. No bodies were recovered. Investigations later revealed a pattern of negligence. The Royal Commission found systemic health and safety issues, poor methane monitoring alongside inadequate ventilation, and underqualified management. This all led to something that could have been avoidable. But safety took a back seat to profit. Families were absolutely devastated, not only by the loss, but by the lack of justice. No one was held criminally responsible either. And in 2013, Pike River CEO Peter Whittle had charges dropped in exchange for a payment to the victims' families. This sparked outrage across the country, many calling it blood money. The families never stopped fighting. Years later, under growing public pressure, the government made plans to re-enter the mine shaft. In 2019, recovery teams finally made it inside the access tunnel. But as of now, no bodies have been recovered. The site now stands as a national memorial and of corporate failure, and the family's unwavering pursuit for truth. 29 men went to work and never came home. The Pike River mine disaster was no accident. It was totally preventable. It was a failure of leadership, of safety, and accountability, and New Zealand will never forget. I hope you enjoyed this episode of our first ever deep dive into Pike River Mine. If you enjoyed it, please chuck us a follow so you don't have to miss another. Cheers.